Hi everyone. So you are going to take a quiz today in which you will be asked to identify some parts of speech. So nouns, verbs, and adjectives are on there. So you'll be asked to identify them in sentences. That is review. The new part of speech for the week is adverbs. So that'll be on there too. So today's quiz will ask you to identify nouns, verbs, and adjectives as a review, and then adverbs as our new skill for the week. I want to give you a few tips before you take the test. So, when you are looking at the sentence, consider what the word does in the sentence, right? Remember, you can't memorize every noun in the English language. You can't memorize every verb, every adjective, every adverb. That's ridiculous. Plus, it doesn't work because so many words can be more than one part of speech. So instead of trying to memorize thousands and thousands of words, we just memorize 8 parts of speech. And then we look at what the word does in the sentence, and then we can identify it. So, does it describe a person, place, or thing? The word that you're looking at. In the quiz, you'll be asked to identify the word that's in all caps. So you can see up here where it says like the Montague family lives in Verona. Here, it's in Montague is in all caps. So this would be the word that you're identifying. So consider what it does in the sentence. The Montague family lives in Verona. Here, Montague in all caps is describing the family. And since family is a noun, we know adjectives describe nouns. So Montague must be an adjective because it's describing a noun. All right. Is it a person, place, or thing? Like Romeo is a Montague and Juliet is a Capulet, right? That's their last names, Romeo Montague and Juliet Capulet. All right, so here Montague is not describing something like it did up here, the Montague family. Here it's his name. We're just saying that he is a Montague. So that's a noun. It's a noun, a person, place, or thing. Maybe the word that you're looking at in the sentence shows action. So Romeo refuses to fight, which angers his friend Mercutio. So here angers is in all caps. And that is a verb because it's something that someone or something can do, right? Here, Romeo angers his friend Mercutio, makes him angry. So it's a verb because he can do it. Whoops. All right. And then lastly, does it describe the way something is done or when it is done or how often it is done? For example, they were secretly married. So secretly here is telling us how they were married. It's describing that verb married, and that makes it an adverb. All right. If you don't know a word, like maybe you don't know what the word means, that might happen. It's impossible to know every word in the English language. So, of course, you're going to run into words and you don't know what the word means. It happens to everybody. It's normal. So, what happens when you run into that on a quiz? Well, I want you to consider how it's used because I bet you can figure out, even if you can't figure out what the word means, I bet you can figure out its part of speech by how it's used. So, for example, let's look at this. If the sentence was, he got the potion from an apothecary. Let's say you don't know what the heck an apothecary is, right? That's okay. You can still figure out if apothecary is a noun, verb, adjective, or adverb because just reason it out. Think about this. Romeo got the potion from an apothecary. Well, he had to get the potion from what? Just in general, logically thinking, you would get anything from a person. Maybe you could get it from a place, or you could get it from something. Like, I don't know, eggs. We all know what eggs are, right? I could get eggs from Farmer Joe, a person, someone. I could get eggs from the store somewhere, or I could get eggs from a chicken, something, right? So if you're getting something from someone or somewhere or something, right? That someone, somewhere, or something has to be a noun because a someone is a person, a somewhere is a place, a something is a thing, right? A people, place, or thing. So I know that's a lot of words to explain what I'm saying, but I hope you get what I'm saying. Like you can reason this out. You don't have to know what an apothecary is, for example, to know that it's a noun because he got a potion from an apothecary, and you can only get a potion from a person or a place or a thing. So it's got to be a noun. All right. An apothecary, by the way, is kind of like an old-fashioned pharmacist. They would make potions and medicines, and people would, go get them from them. One of the things you could buy from an apothecary is poison. So anyway, you'll see when you read the summary of Romeo and Juliet. So even if you don't know what an apothecary is, you can tell it's a noun just because it has to be a person, place, or thing, just the way it's used in the sentence. All right, remember verbs. You're going to have to identify verbs. Action verbs, pretty straightforward. If someone or something can do it, it's an action verb. But don't forget about the linking verbs or verbs of being or helping verbs. Do you remember the silly little song? I offered you guys a YouTube video a while back for you to watch where they like sing the helping verbs to you. So they're right here. Am, is, are, was and were, being, been, and be. Have, has, had, do, does, did, shall, should, will, and would, may, might, must, can, could. All right, so these are a rare occasion where if you wanted to, you could memorize these. These are all of the helping verbs and verbs of being. So there are a few linking verbs that don't show up in here, and we talked about those when we talked about linking verbs that look like action verbs. I'm not going to get into it now because this is just a quick review, but these are all the helping verbs, including the verbs of being. So you could memorize these, but most parts of speech you can't memorize. So don't forget these verbs when you are identifying verbs. All right. Does it end in ly? Many adverbs end in ly. If the word ends in ly, the all caps word, ask yourself if it is describing how, when, or how often we do something, or if it's describing a word that describes something else, right? Is this word an adverb is what you're asking yourself. Not every ly word is going to be an adverb, but many adverbs do end in ly. So let's look at these examples. They danced beautifully. Here, the adverb beautifully shows how they danced. It's describing that verb danced. They danced yesterday. Yesterday is also an adverb, but notice it does not end in ly. So that's why we say many end in ly, but of course not all of them. They danced nightly, right? That shows how often they danced. And they danced very beautifully. We already know beautifully is an adverb in this sentence. They danced beautifully. And here we have very in all caps. So remember, adverbs can describe other adverbs. Like here, very is describing beautifully. Some words that end in ly are not adverbs, so don't get caught up in the ly thing too much. I'm just saying it's a little clue for you to stop and ask yourself, hey, maybe this is an adverb. I need to look a little bit closer. So they danced at the assembly. That word assembly ends in ly, but it's certainly not an adverb. It's a noun, right? Because it's a thing or an event. All right, so there's my little helpful hints for the quiz. It is a Google form. You will just read the directions, which just say to identify what part of speech the all caps word is. Is the word in all caps a noun, a verb, an adjective, an adverb? Be sure to read the whole sentence because we know that words can be used as different parts of speech. And you will only know which part of speech it's being used as if you read the sentence. All right, quiz time and have a great day.